Hi everyone, Kartik Krishnaiyer here for Beyond the 90. I want to make a brief personal announcement explaining what, because it'll be announced Monday, but I want to make sure our subscribers know that it won't affect this website. I've accepted a role as the editor at large with a local newspaper, the Boca Raton Tribune. I feel like there's a crisis in local news, local journalism, local news gathering, especially in this era when people sit on the internet and they're getting news from wherever on social media or national news sources, but they're not paying attention to their local community. And newspapers and local television stations have been bought up by private equity firms, hedge funds, and the quality of news gathering, the quality of investigative reporting, the quality of journalism, the quality of holding people to account, right? The whole local governments, local agencies, industries, companies that are around locally, holding them accountable. That era has passed. You know, the great work, the great local journalism that I grew up with has by and large disappeared. There are people who try, but they're starved of resources. So this is the culmination of many months of conversation, actually. It's been a long running conversation, but I will be joining the Boca Raton Tribune starting Monday. It will not affect Beyond the 90. Beyond the 90, everything is going to go on as normal. I still have enough bandwidth where I can do the football coverage thing, soccer coverage thing with my sources, go to matches, do all of that stuff, talk to people, co-host the podcast we co-host. Where it is going to have an impact, and this does not affect Beyond the 90, but where it is going to have an impact if you follow me in other things is the Florida Squeeze website, which I've owned and operated since 2013, although I handed off to social media, which doesn't really reflect the tone of the website anymore. Handed off to social media several years ago, and have podcast products and video products associated with it. That site will only occasionally be updated. Up until recently, in fact, I think we had 1,500 days or something consecutive where we had posted, right? We got a notification from WordPress about that. And that stopped late last month or earlier this month, I think, because I was beginning to focus on this and doing some other things. So that website is, if you've been a fan of it, I'm sorry, some choices. I have personal bandwidth issues, right? I can't do everything. I have a family also and other things that have to be done. The Florida History Podcast, which I host every week, will go on as usual. That's going to continue. That is hosted by the Florida Squeeze. Chances are it will be moved over to the Boca Raton Tribune potentially at some point if the Florida Squeeze goes away completely as a brand. As I said, the social media will continue. I've handed it off. I'm off social media for all intents and purposes for the most part now. Still updating my Facebook, but other than that, not really doing much on social media. Although, as part of this job, I'm going to dive back into Reddit pretty heavily, because obviously that's where you see a lot of news, where you see a lot of local things. And Nextdoor, right? That's another place. And then in terms of the Florida Squeeze's YouTube page, we have things scheduled out for another year. That's how many videos we've taken for that website, nature videos, history documentaries, stuff about Florida governors, various stuff about Florida history, scheduled out till next June. So it's almost like it's almost what happened when Warner Brothers shut down Termite Terrace, right? They had enough Warner Brothers shorts that Friz Freleng and Chuck Jones had produced to go another 2 years, and then they revisited their decision and reopened the cartoon division at Warner's. But it's sort of like that. So it may appear like everything is still running normally if you're a Florida Squeeze YouTube subscriber, but that's probably not being updated. It's just stuff that's already been loaded into the system, and that's how many videos we have that have been made and that are going to continue to come out about history or natural areas in Florida. So it's actually scheduled through next June, I believe. So 13 more months or so. But the point is, when this announcement comes out, this press release comes out on Monday, and if some of y'all see it, especially if you're in Florida, you might see it. It will not affect Beyond the 90 at all. Everything's going to continue as normal. The publisher, the editor, the publisher of the Boca Raton Tribune knows my commitment to this platform. Actually knows my commitment to the sport of soccer. Publisher is Brazilian, so that helps a little bit. With understanding football, soccer, and so we'll keep going here as normal, as is. But wanted to give everyone the heads up before that news breaks and people start asking questions. Thank you, and everyone have a great weekend. Jägermeister Cup weekend in USL. Had some great USL Championship games yesterday that we will talk about on the third half podcast tomorrow.